So that was Steve Gonsalves, the father of Kaylie Gonsalves, one of the victims. I'll put her up on the screen. She's the first victim on the left in this thumbnail that I put up there. And just, I don't think any of us could imagine the horror that he has gone through in the last few years. Just absolutely horrific. And he's known some of the truths but he was not allowed to speak about it. He was not allowed to talk about what he had found out. And now it must feel really good for him to be able to let some of these things come out and let some of the evidence come out, because it's just torturous for him, absolutely torturous. And people make up things, like he said, many content creators, people just making up things that are not true. And I said early on, I think, and I still believe this, I believe that the prosecution has even more evidence that they have yet to release. And I believe there's even blood evidence, and it just hasn't been released yet. And we already have DNA evidence on the button of the knife sheath. And for many, that's not enough. That's cops planted that. That's what you hear a lot of people saying. It could have been planted. It's probably planted, you know. To me, that's very powerful evidence. And then when we start putting together all the rest of this evidence, it's starting to make extremely compelling case.
Why she was suddenly having him tested and talking about him being on the autism spectrum, and what that was going to have to do with anything, why this was becoming such a big component of things. And this explains it. She is trying to explain away some of the evidence connecting his disorders to why he may have done what he did, like developmental disorder, impacts fine motor.
So these are some of the disorders now that Ann Taylor is inventing in regards to Brian Kohberger, to use them as a defense for his behavior. He's not capable of doing this because he's got developmental coordination disorder. He's not possibly coordinated to kill 4 people with a K-bar knife. He's got OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. He's also on the autism spectrum. He's autism spectrum disorder. I would like to know, was he tested for any of these things prior to potentially murdering 4 people? Was he known to have these disorders? Or is this just being invented by his defense attorneys right now? Because if he wasn't, and he was not diagnosed with any of these things, then how is Ann Taylor, an attorney, inventing all of these disorders? I just don't get that.
Dexterity and visual motor function couldn't have possibly killed 4 people and escaped that quickly because of the DCD, the developmental coordination disorder. The obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Remember all the talk about him wearing gloves that night, and he was trying to cover, fingerprints and evidence. She's saying no, he was just wearing the gloves because he doesn't like germs, that he was double bagging because of the OCD, the garbage bags. Remember the shower curtain missing from the bathroom, that he doesn't like shower curtains because of contaminants, fear of things getting in his eyes, that he has sleep issues. That's why he goes up in the middle of the night driving around. And then the autism spectrum disorder, that's why she says he doesn't show emotion on his face, has a piercing stare, does not show expected reactions, stiff body posture, little to no eye contact. So now we know why she wants to bring all of these disorders in. She's trying to tell the jury, she's going to try to tell the jury, hey, ignore all of this evidence because this can be explained away by these medical conditions.
But having all those alleged medical conditions, he sure planned and carried out a horrific quadruple murder. Again, he's innocent till proven guilty. But if he is guilty, he planned and carried out this horrific murder without leaving very much evidence behind. He left enough evidence behind, in my humble opinion, to get him convicted. But he didn't leave a lot of evidence behind. And of course, the big piece of evidence he left behind was that knife sheath with the DNA on it. And then the other circumstantial evidence. But will Ann Taylor, explain away OCD and all these other disorders by, he likes to drive around at night, in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. in the morning. He just likes to drive his car around. because he's got obsessive compulsive disorder and he's on the autism spectrum, so that makes him drive around, and he's got developmental coordination disorder, so he couldn't have possibly committed this crime. Oh, and by the way, all the evidence you have, it should be suppressed because this evidence, it means nothing, and it's a violation of his privacy. Come on. I mean, grasping for straws with the defense. And again, Ann Taylor is his advocate. She is his attorney. She's doing a fantastic job. But we, on the other side, who question her actions, we have every right to say, wait a minute, this is nonsensical that she's bringing up these issues. I don't buy these issues whatsoever.
That night, and he was trying to cover, fingerprints and evidence. She's saying no, he was just wearing the gloves because he doesn't like germs, that he was double bagging because of the OCD, the garbage bags. Remember the shower curtain missing from the bathroom, that he doesn't like shower curtains because of contaminants, fear of things getting in his eyes, that he has sleep issues. That's why he goes up in the middle of the night driving around. And then the autism spectrum disorder, that's why she says he doesn't show emotion on his face, has a piercing stare, does not show expected reactions, stiff body posture, little to no eye contact. So now we know why she wants to bring all of these disorders in. She's trying to tell the jury, she's going to try to tell the jury, hey, ignore all of this evidence because this can be explained away by these medical conditions.
Well, the one that stuck out the most to me there was his obsessive compulsive disorder means he has sleep issues and drives around in the middle of the night. So if stargazing wasn't good enough, they've now come up with a different reason for why he'd be out on a very cloudy night. I checked the weather, completely overcast night, stargazing. Now it's going to be, I have OCD, so I drive around at night. I'll be interested to see if his cell data shows that he drives around at night with his phone off any other night than the murder night.
So yeah, very, very interesting, and again, this is how attorneys, they're advocating for their clients. Ann Taylor is trying to create doubt in this case. And what kind of doubt is she going to create? That's one of the things that we want to know. Well, OCD, he's got all kinds of disorders, but I just want to put something else up on the screen because I think this is one of the most powerful pieces of evidence. Let me put this up on the screen. And it's times when the vehicle, the white Elantra, was caught in the vicinity of 1122, not by his cell phone. You could see that there.
So those are all just the times that he was near the house. But if you look at those other boxes, and I won't read them all, but they have also traced him around that same time frame to these other surveillance cameras in the area, sort of making the point that he must have been, according to the prosecution, just driving around and passing by until finally deciding to go in.
So that they're all from video surveillance cameras, not cell phone pings. So we've heard so many people trying to disqualify the cell phone pings, but let's put here, there's the car caught in the vicinity of the home by video cameras. So not cell phone pings, video cameras. Powerful evidence. Yes, very powerful evidence, right? And so even all these writers, the Howard Blooms, all trying to disqualify it. Oh, his cell phone. He turned his cell phone off, as we found out, right? So we're going to keep following this case, folks, because there's new evidence coming in all the time. And there's that selfie that tells us so much about this case. And there's the evidence against Koberger. The bushy eyebrows, the K-bar knife ordered on Amazon. All of those things are amazing, and we will stay with this case, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.